Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly, and I've got a special guest for you, the one and only
Very special.
Economic Ninja.
Yeah. How you doing?
And, one thing that's kind of a whirlwind thing is that when he and I get together, we work on business, and he drove down to me for the weekend. I took him to the Angel game last night, and got all the stuff done. But we really wanted to make a video to talk about, what's going on, how people should plan for June, and new month, business, everything that's going on. And thanks for being here, first of all.
Oh yeah, thanks.
And,
thanks for having me, man. It's been awesome.
But we're here at Huntington Beach Pier, guys, and really overcast morning. But we were talking about so much stuff.
Yeah.
And one thing that we talked about last time was the economic cycle.
Yeah.
And how business went down, and how it was like the spigot getting shut off last time. And I noticed it in my business.
Because you're in construction, yeah.
Yeah. And
well, you know what's funny about cycle? It's not just the cycle. There's so many different cycles inside of a big cycle. And, everyone remembers the Great Recession. They talk about the Great Depression. What they don't realize is all these little cycles were starting to pop off and implode. And then that led to the next industry and the next industry. And what happens is real estate's usually the last one to get hit. And we were talking at breakfast, just chatting it up with strangers, and talking about the race industry and how, because we were talking about cycles and he was overhearing us, and he said, something that's interesting, I build these trophy trucks. They're $700,000 a piece. And he goes, now that you're talking about these cycles, it makes a lot of sense, because two of the biggest, most wealthiest race teams in the country have literally just liquidated all of their race equipment.
why are they doing that, people? Why are they doing that?
And he goes, but these guys are the smartest guys in the room. Well, I go, what industry are they attached to? And he says, real estate.
Yeah.
McMillan Homes was one of them. And that's one of them. And he goes, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, well, they know something you don't, because they're at the heartbeat. They're not reading the news articles. They're actually trying to sell homes, and they're not able to. And it's that cycle. You were talking about a friend of yours. That was an interesting story.
Well, I have a friend of mine who has the opportunity to buy a house right now. And I think she should do it right now, because it's an estate situation. She's going to be, paying off family members. And you said this is the worst thing that she could be doing.
Yeah, I said the total opposite. I said, most times in lives, the worst thing outside of a death of a family member, because those are horrible to recover from, but the worst things that happen to you money-wise or business-wise end up being the greatest things ever. Why? Because it does two things. It forces you to not adapt, but to pivot. It forces people to change, and people are not ready for change. And then you go down another road, and you end up getting blessed because you went a totally different direction. And I told you with your friend, I said, why would you want to buy out? Because the person's living in the house right now, right? And they have that security. But one thing they don't, because I asked right away, well, where do they work? What kind of industry in? And healthcare. I'm like, okay, that's the number one job cut of this last year, right? But people are like, oh, but I'm a nurse, and it's great, until your company, your hospital, which I know of multiple hospitals right now that are starting to file for bankruptcy right now. They don't have the money. And so I'm like, until that shift happens, but do you like your commute? And they didn't like their commute. So I'm like, why wouldn't you take that money and put it, divest it, a bunch of different banks, right? But sit there and wait. You're literally going to refinance it to pay off family members for it overinflated home price, and have to pay an overinflated interest rate too. Oh, that was another thing you brought up.
Yeah.
Talk about that question. Like, people are just expecting the Fed to lower rates.
Oh yeah,
Let's talk about that.
Okay. What we're seeing right now is that so many people write me and tell me that the economy is not as bad as we think it is,
Yeah.
and that we're seeing it, and that the trucking company, and we went into a high-end auto dealership, which we'll talk about in a second, but people think that they're just going to lower interest rates overnight. And that's not going to happen, guys. There's no reason to lower interest rates. Most likely, the Fed's going to raise interest rates, with this next meeting. And people freak out when I say that. But the likelihood of that, with inflation going up, PCE going up this last week, that nobody wants to look at. Nobody wants to look at the fact that inflation was up this last week, when all you were talking about was debt ceiling. And now the debt ceiling got settled on a holiday weekend, and then now it's like no big deal.
So guys, the Federal Reserve is a private bank. It's owned by the biggest banks on earth, all right? So it behooves the Fed to do things that its owners, the big banks, make money from. And the Fed doesn't just wake up and go, you know what, today's a good day to lower rates. They have never, ever done that in history. They don't just wake up and go, you know what, it'd be nicer for the American public to just pay less interest. No, they lower rates after everything has crashed. The last time this happened was when Trump came out. He was screaming and going, the Federal Reserve is trying to crash the economy by raising rates. They're literally going to crash the economy. Well, people didn't realize the Dow lost 20%. Actually, it was 19.5% in 2018 from October to December. And you got literally a president, first time ever since Kennedy, coming out and saying the Federal Reserve is actually trying to hurt you guys. And literally they about faced. But what's crazy, it was true. The market lost 19%. That was the equal to this first leg down in the Great Depression.
Yes.
And that crisis was averted, right? The Fed doesn't wake up and just go, you know what, it's nice just getting less interest. No, they actually want to rob you. That's the goal of a bank. They want to take money in fees and interest.
And one thing that's bad with the economy is you have to look at the layoffs. You have to look at these companies that are cutting back and take that seriously, guys, because it's not just one industry. It's just not real estate. It's just not construction. It's just not retail. It's just not tech. It is everything. People are cutting back.
Yeah.
And you can blame AI all you want. And, we talked about this morning. There is an AI robot that's going to get rid of, you having to go to a tire store and deal with the guy to buy tires. They're going to put you on a conveyor belt, basically, that's going to pull the tires off, put the tires on without having to speak to a human being. That is crazy.
When I got told about that literally 6 months ago and said to keep quiet about it because it's a secret thing, but now it's out. The robot's there. You literally will pull into a spot. Imagine this. And we'll bring up the repairs, in a second, because that was a good point at breakfast. You literally pull into a spot just like a car wash. So you have to get your tires. It clicks in. It goes, okay, green light, red light, you're in. You exit the car. The robot literally scans your tires, figures out what you need. You pick which one. You just scan your credit card or your debit card. There's no employees at all. Picks the car up, and then the robot pulls the tires off, does everything automatically. Now, someone, you then immediately went, yeah, but the good thing is there's always going to be mechanics. And this is what I said, and this is what you could tell. The look on Dan's face was like, oh, crap. Your motor was put together by a robot, and it wasn't that it was just invented. That robot's been putting together motors on an assembly line, like in Ford factory, literally for 30 years, all right? Those robots are so advanced even 30 years ago. They're putting together everything. You tell me why a robot cannot now open up the hood and literally pull that motor apart and fix it. See, that's what people don't realize. And the AI scans it and does all this stuff, and it's already ordering the parts. Oh, no, I'm good because I'm in the auto parts industry. Yeah, not much longer. And I'm not joking. This is very, very serious. We were talking about farming. AI is revolutionizing farming.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm literally videoing a paid video, right? A sponsored video to help me go in and make money. And I'm literally watching this. I'm going, holy cow, I had to actually buy some stock. And I had to, I'm fully disclosing it, but it's like, I want to be involved in the sector because it's like marijuana stocks. Those things, now they went down since then, right? But the beginning exploded. So where is there going to be the opportunities? I'm always trying to find opportunities. And so I'm like, oh, I got to dive into this sector. But at the same time, it is going to take millions of people's jobs.
One thing that's happened with me is I get people that write me and say, you don't understand, my husband's vice president of so-and-so at Microsoft. He's never going to lose his job. And then 6 weeks later, she writes me that her husband's been laid off. Yeah. So you're going to start to see a lot of people continue to lose their jobs. JP Morgan, they bought First Republic. They're going to fire 1,000 people from First Republic. JP Morgan's just getting rid of 500 more executives at JP Morgan.
Also, just a lot of there's executives at First Republic that were executives at Lehman Brothers. This is wash, rinse, repeat at its finest cycle. And they're going to probably keep those guys like, oh, you're good at ripping people off. Okay, cool. You literally can con people. That's what we need. We need more con men in the banking industry.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And but one thing that we're seeing around the country is we're starting to see the real estate prices taper off, and we're seeing the fact that real estate is, it's not dropping across the country, but there are areas that are worse than others.
Yeah, that's always going to be the case, and that's the other thing people don't realize. So first off, homes around the country dropped across the country, right? Now there were some microclimates where homes held their price. Even some that actually did pretty well because they're up and coming industrial areas, right? Like in Oklahoma, there was a town or a small city that actually did well. And people love to point those out. I'm like, look, I'm talking to the masses here. There's always going to be the hottest like this is what's crazy. Where are we? Huntington Beach right now? Can't even tell. Okay, so it's like every city. It's like literally, there's a city. I can touch it. I can touch the other city here. But my point being is that the faster they go up, the quicker they drop, right? And you're going to see that here. We were walking around multi-million-dollar homes the other day, and you were telling me stories, literally physical stories of people that got inherited it, because there's going to be a lot of people passing away.
I took them through Balboa Island, and we were talking about how so many people now, it used to be that grandma had her house and she would have it on the island. Grandma would pass away, leave it to the kids, and then those people would leave it to their kids. And now, with the way that the world is, they can't afford the taxes, they can't afford the upkeep. Maybe grandma didn't maintain the house. It's the original carpet from 20 years ago and things like that, and they just can't afford to maintain the houses, and they have to unload the property.
Tell them about the shingles. That's what brought this whole thing up.
Well, the thing that brought it up was we're sitting there looking at, you see houses that are, $10 million. And then we go by this house that was older, and they literally had a patch of shingles that were replaced, and we're like, how insane is that? A wood shingled house, first of all, is nuts. And the fact that they had a wood shingle house that they replaced about a 6 foot by 6 foot patch in the center of the roof, just so they wouldn't have to replace the entire roof.
And so it's obviously brand new shingle, right?
Yes.
So it stands out like a big old zit on this house.
Yeah, and it's not gonna look any better for years, to say the least, right in front of the house. But the point is, you can clearly tell that they're trying to do this on the cheap. And that's the last thing they should be doing with this house.
Totally.
So, and the problem with it is that people don't realize that there is a precarious problem. When you have companies that are cutting back the way that they are and changing, how they're hiring, everything. We're seeing it in every sector right now. And the one thing that we talked about this morning was people with side hustles and how you still can sell things. I take advantage of this, why people still have money, because there's going to be a point in time when they don't have money to buy things, and you can unload everything in the garage.
Yeah.
You can unload, your tools, your extra bikes, any motorcycles, any boats, anything you don't need. Get rid of it now, where you can still get a decent price for it.
Now, but with that said, we were also talking about, I was unloading some stuff, and I have to have somebody else do it for me now, because I don't, people recognize me and stuff, and it's hard to sell things on like Facebook. It's slowing down. People do not have the money that they did a year ago, the disposable income. I think you're going to see it like that race team. There are people that just have that gut feeling, and they're slowing down their purchases. This exact same thing happened to me with the tractor sales, palm tree sales, these different cycles of money that comes in. The trailers really did well because I was selling them in 2014, 2015. What was going on? Doomsday. Yeah. Literally, people were buying homes and putting them on property for their families that didn't have any money, or they're building these doomsday shelters.
Yeah.
At a certain point, that ended. That news cycle ended, so the sales ended.
One thing that we did yesterday is I took him through, we started in Laguna Beach and filmed at the Montage, and then went to, I showed him Balboa Island, showed him Corona del Mar, showed him all these different cities, and, that were really high end. And one thing that we did was we went to a couple high-end car dealerships that were on Pacific Coast Highway. We went to the Ferrari dealership and talked to a manager that was, to say he was honest was an understatement.
But he also could tell that we knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Because I asked, what are sales like? And he goes, I'm like, how are things going? And he goes, okay, soft, right? Was the word he used?
Key. You get it? It's not, okay. So it was that.
But it just started, he said, this month.
And the other thing is that people with these high-end cars are starting to unload the cars. And the one thing that I got a kick out of was he was talking about the leases for a high-end car. Imagine leasing a Ferrari. You lease a car that is $400,000 and $500,000. And he was, Travis was asking about, hey, what do you do with these turnbacks? So what are they getting for this? And
so he started pointing them out because, so this is the other interesting thing. All the inventory in Ferrari was not their inventory. They were lease returns. But they're not lease returns. They're still being leased by the owners. So this is what he said.
Guy's still making the payment on those cars sitting in a car dealership
It was super cool because he didn't know who either of us were, didn't follow the channel, but he knew a lot about economics. He studies it. Like, he actually brought up commercial mortgage-backed securities. He's like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. I'm like, yeah, I know. I do know a little bit about this. And he goes, okay, let's point out this car. And he points out a Ferrari. He goes, okay, this guy literally all in cost to buy, he has got to get out of the Ferrari. He's got to actually pay for this. So it was like, what, $225,000, right? He goes, he's asking right now $340,000 for it. He's not going to get it. He just said, the guy's not going to get it. He is going to do what the last client I just had do. He's going to try, after a couple of months, panic, and he's going to try and just break even. sell it for break even. But I said, what happens if he doesn't do that? He goes, well, he's got to make up the difference. And I'm like, these things are sinking like rocks right now.
Yeah.
And he even said it right there. He goes, look, these Ferraris, he goes, these are delicate cars. I'm like, I know, because they're insane to maintain.
Think about this. We were sitting there talking about, and Travis is a real car guy. He knows everything.
Those things.
But he was talking about the cars, and the guy's like, oh, no, these are delicate cars. You have to worry about the engine, the paint, and damaging them. I'm like, why would you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in a car that you have to worry about going too fast on it, driving too fast? The paint's going to get damaged.
About every 9,000 miles, people don't realize this about Ferrari, you need pretty much a top-end rebuild. Because you're literally dealing with a race car motor. They are meant to go super fast for not that long. Like McLaren, I was telling him, I was talking to some really big auto leasing companies that lease exotics. I said, what do you think about, what's the worst car ever? All of them say the same thing, McLaren. And I go, why? And they go, literally by about 3,000 miles, we start having issues. I'm like, no way, why would you ever lease them?
Miles.
And they said, because these people are so enamored with them. They're not even that fast compared to other supercars. And it just blows me away. And I said, what's the best one? One of the best cars they say out there is the Lamborghini Gallardo, whatever. Yeah. They said they're bulletproof. And I'm like, very similar. He said, but nobody, and even the Ferrari dealer goes, yeah, I used to work at Porsche. Nobody beats the Porsche.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, that's one of my dream cars.
We have a thing here in Southern California about 30 minutes from here where they have the Porsche experience. But you can, if you're going to buy, lease, or get a Porsche, you can go to them and pay, and you can drive that car on the racetrack. It's pretty cool.
I'm trying to get a deal right now to where they let me come do it for the channel and actually talk about it.
That would be cool.
Because Porsche is the GT3 911 is one of my dream cars that I'm going to be buying during this crash. I've been literally, we were talking the other day, I sold my tractor. It was actually sort of heartbreaking, but I sold the tractor, something I wanted my whole life. Sold it because the market's changing. I'm going to take that $20,000 I sold the tractor for, which, oh, by the way, that tractor was purchased new for $16,900, right? Yeah. Back in like 2016, I think, 2017. And it's only got 40 hours on it. It's mint condition. I'm going to try and flip that 5 times, turn it into $100,000. I'm going to try and do it on the channel, I think. But then I'm going to turn around and rebuy the tractor, and I'm going to go pay cash for I'm going to try and buy a cash C8 Z06 because I think those are coming down too.
So what we're seeing is the wealthier people that are starting to unload things. And you guys got to look at your finances, look at what you can get rid of right now, because I'm telling you, everything's going to go on sale. And, to walk to a Ferrari dealership and just to get the advice of this guy, but to have somebody be honest about how, he's seeing a softening of the market. You're seeing a softening of everything right now.
Yeah.
And, one thing that, I always got a kick out of was you talked about the tractor sales.
Yeah.
You flipped tractors at one point when you had no idea what a tractor was.
About 60 tractors, probably 200 implements. I'd never been in a tractor. I had one for like a week I bought, and then I found a deal on a Bobcat, and I literally at Christmas time, he was asking $12,000 for the tractor, and I went up to him and I said, look, it was mint condition. It only moved hay inside of a barn. It literally had like 20 hours on it, and it was a wealthy family that owned it, and they look, we don't use it anymore. We don't move cattle here, so we don't need it to move hay. Mint condition. That was my first sale. I go, I only have $8,000. Will you take $8,000? Guy literally looks down. He sort of kicks the ground. He goes, you know what? It's Christmas, and I got to buy presents. Okay. This is what he's thinking, the rich family, right? I got to buy presents for my family. I'll take the $8,000. I put it on Facebook, Craigslist, marketed it the right way, had it sold for $12,000 in less than 30 days.
Wow.
He just didn't know how to market it. So yeah, I sold tons of it, but there was a day where it stopped. And that's what we're seeing right now with auto sales.
So, okay, auto sales are off.
Yeah.
You're seeing, people's jobs are in jeopardy. Don't you think that? I mean, we both have,
they're not, we're literally losing over 1,000 jobs a day on average right now in the nation. That's easy math. And I think it's going to be 10,000 a day sometime in October, September.
Yeah, this doesn't just end this summer. We're going to see some crazy stuff right now.
And rates are going to go up. And you know what? Me and Dan have been talking about rates are not done going up. Things are going to get a lot more expensive.
Oh, you guys are stupid.
Yeah, but you know who else agrees with us now? It just came out. Jamie Dimon announced it, and he goes, "You're not gonna like this news," but he literally said in a press release that real estate is going to go down and interest rates are going to go up. And he goes, "Nobody believes me." And I'm like, he's actually the smartest guy in the room. He runs the largest bank in the country, which ties ownership to the Federal Reserve. Holy cow! Think about it, guys. But hey, we're just a couple knuckleheads on YouTube.
As far as what would you and I have talked about getting out of debt and the importance of that. And again, there was just another report about how the average family, 40% of people don't have $400 right now. That amount keeps sinking that they have for an emergency fund. What would you recommend people do to get themselves financially prepared right now?
You know, an emergency fund is so important because why? You now become your own bank. When you need an emergency, you're not running into the credit card and then exacerbating the problem with paying interest, right? You become your own bank. So what happens if you can save $1,000 by selling crap around your house? No joke. You need to beat everybody to the exit door.
Yeah.
You know, in the nightclub, when something goes bad, you need to make sure you're at the exit. But here's what throws you away: even these crises that happen or whatever, and people get killed. Think about this in your life right now. It'd be as easy as hanging out in the nightclub. Oh, we're here, we're having fun. You know what? Let's dance or let's hang out closest to the exit. Let's just say there. Why are we in the middle? Oh, we want to be in the party, in the crowd. Think about this as a metaphor for life. What's going on right now? You just dance over next to the exit, because what happens if something goes wrong? See ya.
You're done.
Gone.
You're done.
And the thing is, everybody else is trying to jam pack, and that's when people get hurt. Well, think about it in finance. You literally need an emergency account now, because when you try to sell things, it's too late. Everyone else is trying to sell things. We want to be buying the stuff everybody is exiting
trying
for.
to get rid of.
And that's
the other thing is that, you know, frugality, the word that people need to understand. You need to be frugal in everything that you do right now. And if you learn to do it now, it's going to be so much easier 6 months from now to to save money, to spend wisely, because the world is going to go on sale right now, guys. When you have Ferraris that are going on sale, that's the beginning. There's everything else from there south that's going to go on sale. And plus, the one thing I tell people is, even if you're in debt, even if you have credit card debt, you need to have cash socked away. Yeah. If you are on a fixed income, if you're on Social Security, or you have a pension every month, you need to make sure that you have about 10% of that at least socked away in cash in a drawer for an emergency fund. Because what's going to happen if the banks go down? What's going to happen if you don't have access to money for an extended period of time? You've got to have, like Travis said, be your own bank.
You know, we talk about 6 months from now. We're going to be meeting up, and we should probably clip this in the beginning so most people can see it. But we're going to be meeting up in Vegas, in September, end of September.
September 30th and October 1st. We're going to the Silver Symposium, and you're going to be able to meet both of us.
We're both
going to have speakers. We're going to have panels. We're going to be talking. It's going to be in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. The link will be below. You need to sign up for that. It's incredibly inexpensive. Everybody that goes to the event will also get a free ounce of silver too.
Oh yeah.
We're not running the event. We are just speaking at the event and have been invited to attend.
Yeah.
So,
but there's also speakers. But the reason why I say that we should put this in is because it's not that's end of September. You're going to see crazy stuff happening in the market, and then it's about getting together and going, okay, now what's our next move? Right now, it's setting up the emergency account, but it's what's next. That's why I'm like, that's when you sort of want to be around other human beings like yourself that understand this crap's going down. It's going down quick. And then you get energized, you get more passion for what you're doing, but you also get these witty ideas. Because as me and Dan, I can have my own thoughts. Dan has his own thoughts. I was talking to him about this the other day. We're going to go to a business meeting, I think in Austin, hopefully in about a month for our new business. And I said, we have to be in the room with the person and both be talking to the person, because we hear things differently. Everyone hears differently at a different frequency. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. And so then we go back to our hotel rooms and we literally sit down and go, okay, what did we get out of today? Well, he said this. I'm like, what? No, he said this. And you go, wait, and you bring this together. That's why it's important to be around the same kind of community of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and everywhere I've gone, I literally meet people that have said, yeah, I met you. I saw you in Dallas. Speak at Dallas. I literally still email and talk on the phone with other people from that meeting to this day, like 2 years later.
You know, as a connected marketer, one thing that you guys have to do is reach out to people you want to meet. Reach out to people that you think have a similar vibe to you, and just have coffee with these people. Find out what's going on. You know, don't just ask, and we need you to do this for me. Just sit there and ping pong ideas off of people, and you'll be surprised what you'll get out of that.
Yeah.
It really will make a huge difference.
Couldn't agree more.
You know, but guys, you know, holiday weekend, so much going on.
Actually, there's not much going on.
Yeah.
We talked about that too.
It also, guys, understand this. It's kind of odd that you have this vacation town, and it's like somebody flipped the switch, and this might as well be October, guys, because there's nobody here.
Sorry.
What?
Something shenanigans back.
Was there shenanigans in the background? Okay.
Get the good stretch. Sorry.
Anyways, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. I hope you guys enjoyed this, but it was nice. You know, it took Ninja to his first baseball game in 25 years. and then some.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a lot older than that, so yeah, it was a lot more than 25 years.
But the cool thing was he got to he really enjoyed it, and he got to experience that, and he was surprised to hear that Wally Joyner was in the team, Dave Winfield, and Reggie Jackson.
I was really looking forward to Reggie Jackson playing, and like, no, there's this guy from Japan. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? That wouldn't wave at anybody. I'm like, I already don't like him.
Oh, the cops are here now, so we got to end it with the cops. That's how it always ends with my videos, is the cops show up. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please take a look at the Silver Symposium, guys. The link will be in the video description below. It's a very inexpensive item. You got to get yourself you got to get your own hotel. But take a look at the tickets. This event is going to be amazing. There's some amazing speakers already in the lineup, and a lot of YouTubers are going to be there too. And
Greg Manarino.
Greg Manarino is going to swing
buddy
by.
of yours.
Yeah, he's Greg's the king. So I love the Robin Hood of Wall Street. So. Like, subscribe, follow. Don't forget to sign up for Christmas in May too, guys, which is great. That will end this week, and it's your last chance to do that. So check out the Economic Ninja. If you didn't say that on your video the other day, hey, check out Dan's channel. No.
I didn't?
No. So check
Maybe
out
I did that on purpose.
Check out Dan's channel. Okay? Go to Economic Ninja too, guys.
Thanks.
Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.
See you guys.